Hello, gentlemen. This is our writing workshop tutorial on how to properly use a quote. What we're interested in when we're using a quote is proving to our reader that we know the text so well that we can use the author's words to prove our own points. And part of using a quote is being able to seamlessly integrate it into our papers. And that includes a really good lead-in sentence, an accurate quote, and then a proper analysis sentence following the quote, and of course a citation. So this is about how to use that lead-in sentence and how to write that analytical statement. So the first thing you have to do is find a good quote, something that fits in with the topic that you're writing about. And I just pulled this quote out of Mice and Men. Why, he'd do any damn thing I told him. If I told him to walk over a cliff, over he'd go. That wasn't so damn fun after a while. And you might remember this quote from George. It's early in the novel when he and Lenny have completed their first day of work and Slim starts asking him some questions. So I need a lead-in sentence because, first of all, this is a quotation. It's dialogue, and I don't know who the speaker is. So if I were to just drop this into the paper without identifying the speaker, I'd be leaving my reader out in the dark, and I don't want to do that. So I also want to orient the reader to where I am in the novel. And when I say orient the reader to where we are, that doesn't mean I write something like in chapter 4. No, we're not interested in numbers in that way. We want you to verbally identify where you are. So for instance, I would write something like, in Slim, George sees someone in whom he can confide. So after Slim asks why he and Lenny travel together, George tells a story about Lenny's loyalty. So that could be my lead-in sentence. I know that it's George who's the speaker because I've identified him right here. And I also know where we are in the novel. This is when Slim is asking about their relationship, and we know that this is when George tells the story about how he told Lenny to jump over a cliff and all that. So anyone who's read the novel will know where we are based on that lead-in sentence. So then I'm going to have my quote, and it is dialogue. So because it's dialogue, I could indicate it's dialogue by using the single quote in addition to the double quote, meaning Steinbeck's words and then dialogue. But because I'm only quoting dialogue, I choose to use just the double quotes, meaning that it's John Steinbeck's words. So I have my end of my quote here, and I'll fix that in a minute, but I need to write my analysis sentence. So I can't just leave this quote hanging out there. I have to analyze it. So I would say something like, George, whoops, sensing Slim's goodness, uses this moment as a confession, revealing both Lenny's innocence and his own regret at taking advantage of his friend. So what you'll notice in this analytical sentence is that I make no attempt to put the quote into my own words. That's not the purpose of an analytical sentence. You need to explain how this proves what you're trying to say, what this quote reveals. And I think this quote does an excellent job of revealing that George is a basically good person who gets frustrated from time to time with a situation that's largely beyond his control. So I'm going to stick with that. Now I'm going to go back and make sure I've quoted properly. I've got my introductory quotes and I've got my ending quotes. Remember that period, the period, a comma, a colon, or a semicolon don't belong in a quote. So we're going to get rid of that. And then I need to include a space after my end quotes the parentheses, the author's last name spelled properly, a space, and a page number on which I found that quote, end parentheses, and then don't forget to end your paragraph or your sentence with a period. No one gets to end it but you. And so that is how to integrate a quote using a good lead-in sentence and a good analytical sentence following a proper citation.